Hello everybody and welcome to our channel. I'm Hayden, I'm one half of the Vegan Voyagers, and my husband Aaron and I travel full time. Everything we own fits into one suitcase and one backpack each. We recently left the United States and our goal is to travel to every country in the world. And before we did that, we spent 3 years traveling throughout the United States in an RV. So we were already minimalists, and it wasn't very hard to downsize into a single suitcase. We've been on the road for 3 months. Really? It just started raining. It just started dumping rain. It's not always sunny in paradise, people. I'm not gonna show you every single piece of clothing that I own. There's nothing all that exciting about it, but I'm gonna show you some of the random travel essentials that we've come up with that have been a huge lifesaver. I guarantee you your life will be easier if you follow our packing guide. We decided to buy the Monos large suitcases. They're check-in size, they're hard shell. What we love so much about Monos is that they're a small company based out of Vancouver and they have a huge sustainability mission. One thing we absolutely love about the Monos suitcases is that they came with shoe bags. It came with 3 shoe bags, and these have been perfect because if our shoes are sandy or they're dirty, we know that we can put our dirty shoes into these and it will keep our suitcases clean. So the backpack that I travel with is the Wandered Day Pack, and it's a little bit smaller than their Provoke backpack, which is what Aaron uses. He carries more camera equipment and our hard drives and a tripod and everything, so it's the perfect setup for him. And this backpack is the perfect setup for me because it's great to be able to take with us when we adventure around a new city for the day. It's lightweight, it's super tiny. The other thing that I absolutely swear by are packing cubes. I ordered a set of packing cubes just from Amazon. It comes with 6 cubes, 3 different sizes, and they have been a complete life-changing game. I tried to live out of this suitcase for about a month before we left the States, and all of my clothes were disorganized. I could never find anything. These guys are a lifesaver. My other favorite thing about them is that when we arrive in a new place, I can just take the cubes out of the bag and put them straight into a drawer or onto shelves, and I can just already have everything organized. There's one thing to note about packing cubes. I don't use compression cubes. There's a lot of room in here. They're not fully packed. I use them primarily for organization. If you're living out of like a 30-liter backpack and your goal is to put as much stuff into a small space as possible, then you can get compression packing cubes. Most toiletry bags these days are pretty standard and you can get all sorts of different kinds. I recommend one that folds up into a smaller size and comes with a hook. A hook will allow you to hang your bag on the back of the door or on the towel rack, which allows you to have a lot of extra space on top of the counters. That being said, oftentimes there isn't a hook on the back of the door, and that's why I travel with one of these guys. This is a little tiny over-the-door hook, and I can put this on the back of any door and I hang my bag on it, or it also can be a nice extra towel hook. It's super lightweight, doesn't take up any space. I just put it in my toiletry bag and it's already come in handy so many times, I can't even tell you. Similar to the packing cubes for my clothes, we also have a toiletry packing cube set. It comes with 3 different sized bags, and inside they're lined with plastic. So we put all of our toiletries in here. We carry full-size shampoo and conditioner and body lotion and sunscreen and face wash and all of that, and these are great. We know because they're plastic lined that they're not going to leak all over our bags, and they help keep everything super organized. If you end up traveling on a day where you've used your swimsuit, or if you have anything that's really wet, we have these little, what I call dry bags. But inside they're plastic lined, similar to our toiletry cubes. We stick our wet swimsuits or our wet washcloths in there, and it helps protect our clothes and everything else in our bag from getting soaking wet. Speaking of washcloths, we actually each travel with one of our own washcloths. It's not something that we actually started off our travels with, but we've noticed that in most Airbnbs we've stayed in, they don't give you one. So we went out and we bought our own, and it's been great so far. So if we have wet ones at the end of a stay and we're moving on that day, we just put them in the dry bag. So we found that a lot of Airbnbs also don't come with dish towels for the kitchen. Sometimes we like to cook, and so it's nice to be able to dry dishes or just have a hand towel to wipe your hands on instead of having to use paper towels. So we carried one of these microfiber cloths with us. And while we're talking about towels, we each also travel with our own Turkish towel. We actually used to use these as our main towels when we were RVing because they are super lightweight and they are super quick drying. And we've used them hundreds of times already in the short couple of months that we've been on the road. They're great for the beach, they're great if you don't have a towel in your Airbnb, and they could even be used as like a shawl if it was cold outside, or a blanket on an airplane. There's so many different uses for them, and we definitely recommend traveling with one. Nobody likes to have to do laundry while on the road, but that is a reality of everyday life, and so we recommend traveling with your own laundry bag. The ones that we have actually have a strap, like a shoulder strap, and that way when we're walking down the street in the middle of a city, it's not hard to carry around with us. We make sure we got really heavy duty ones so it doesn't rip in the middle of a street. We've also learned the benefits of drop-off laundry service. Highly recommend that. It's a life-changing experience. Grocery shopping is an inevitable thing that everybody has to do all over the world, almost every single day. So we carry a couple of different reusable bags with us. In Mexico City, they had a plastic bag ban, and so we ended up having to buy like 3 or 4 of these, and we ended up keeping them. They're super lightweight, they fold up really easy, they fit right in our bag. And it's been great because we don't have to use plastic, but also we always have a grocery bag on us. Another thing I cannot travel without is a handheld fan. This thing has 2 different settings. It has a low and a high speed. It's USB chargeable. I get really sick on airplanes. I get really sick when I don't have a lot of airflow or it's too hot. This thing has been amazing while sitting in the back of a bus on a bumpy road, or sitting on a really hot airplane when the air vents aren't working correctly, and it's got a pretty good speed to it. It does the job well. Speaking of getting sick on airplanes or on trains or boats, I always carry a Ziploc bag. I keep one of these in my carry-on bag on an airplane, and it doubles as a puke bag. Most people know by now that you must be traveling with a reusable water bottle. And one thing we bought was this one that actually collapses. It was totally unnecessary. We don't need a water bottle that collapses, but it's good to have a water bottle at all just to be able to fill up at the airports and to make sure you're not buying a lot of plastic. So I'm not going to tell you every single piece of electronics that we have in our backpacks. But if you are interested in seeing all of our camera setup and all of our gear and what kind of plugs and cords and camera equipment that we carry, let us know down below in the comments and we can make a separate video about that. But I will tell you a couple of must-haves that we've found so far. So the first thing is a power strip. This is also a surge protector. It has 3 different plugs and 4 different USB ports as well. I can charge up to 7 different devices on here at once. We actually each carry one. It also comes with a really long cord, so it kind of doubles as an extension cord as well. Plus you want to make sure you have a surge protector just in case the power went out in the middle of the night. You have all of your things charging, your devices, your computer, your cameras, and the power comes back on. A lot of times that will fry every single thing that you have plugged in. You can't leave the country without a converter for your plugs, for your voltage, so a lot of times plugs in different countries don't have the same 2-prong system that the United States does, so tiny one of these, they're super lightweight, and it's basically a must need if you leave the country. So having a power bank is going to save your life in so many different situations. We actually have 2 because we thought we lost one and ended up buying another one and then found the second one. So these will charge your devices up to 2 or 3 times per charge on each one of these. So if you're out, you're filming, your batteries are draining, your phone is draining after a really long flight, having one of these will save your butt. So this is something I probably don't need to tell you to get, but it's something that I absolutely swear by and can't live without, are noise canceling headphones. These are beets, and I've actually had them for like 4 or 5 years. They're starting to fray and get a little grody, so I'm looking to replace them, but having these on a long flight with screaming children is amazing, and I use them to edit as well. Another piece of electronics that we can't live without is a little tiny Bluetooth speaker. We use this thing all the time. We always have music playing, and this one is actually waterproof, so if we're at the beach or if we're on a boat, we can be listening to music and not worrying about it getting wet and getting destroyed. Plus it has a really good sound quality. Another thing we always travel with is what's called a lipo bag. These little bags we put all of our batteries in, so our drone batteries, our camera batteries, we put these in here because a lot of times we check our bags, and this is like an anti-flammable bag. So a lot of times you're not allowed to fly with batteries in your checked luggage, and this bag will actually allow you to do that, and it will eliminate anything exploding and catching on fire and taking the plane down. So we highly recommend a lipo bag. So I'm gonna end on one thing that we did buy that I haven't really used, and I'm not sold on it being something that we actually needed, but we bought waterproof shoes. And actually Aaron wears his all the time. He wears them as his daily shoes, but I just don't quite like them. So they're the Vessi brand. They're cruelty free, they're vegan, but they just hug my ankles really tightly, and I think maybe just they're a little too big, and so my feet slide around in them and they're just kind of uncomfortable. But we haven't really needed waterproof. We haven't been in like a lot of wet weather yet, so I'm still holding on to them. But I'm not so sure it's something that I needed to buy. So I hope you liked this video of a bunch of random things that we travel the world full time with, things that we can't live without and that have made our lives a lot easier while living full time on the road and living out of a suitcase. If there's something that you can't live without on the road, let us know down below in the comments. Maybe it's something that we don't even know that we need. So help us out, leave those comments down below, and we'll see you next time. What the? Oh. And it's already come in handy so many times. They've come in handy, and they've already come in handy so many times. It has come in handy so many times, and they've already come in handy so many times. And it's come in handy, and that doesn't make any sense. Okay. What else? All right, is that it?